Hey, and welcome to the Jessica Paul podcast. I'm your host, Jess Paul, actress, manifestation expert, and mindset coach. And I'm here to share with you all of my secrets on confidence, success, and the magic of manifestation. If you're ready to dive in deep and see more success in your career, more money in your bank account, and more love in your life, with a whole new level of freedom, then you're in the right place. I'm letting loose on everything you need to take back control of your life, up-level your mindset, and tap into your manifestation powers. I'm so excited that you're here. Hey, hi, hello friends. Welcome back to another episode of the JP podcast with me, your host, your manifestation mentor, your spiritual bestie. It is me, Jess Paul, and we are here to talk all things mindset manifestation. And it's 2 days till Christmas, guys. I hope that you're all feeling festive and in that spirit. And if you're not, then I am personally sending you all of the love around this time. So guys, we're diving into an episode today that's actually kind of a reflective episode. I'm basically going to be chatting through 7 things that I have really learnt this year. And hopefully these are going to be some of the things that you guys can reflect on too and have a little think about. Maybe you guys have been through similar things, or maybe this episode is just going to open up your mindsets a little bit more and learn some new things. So this year for me, guys, has been a year of rest. 2022 has been a year of rest. It's been a very reflective year. It's been a year of spiritual growth and patience. A lot of patience. As you all know, because you guys listen to the updates, the life updates that I always do on my episodes, 2022, at the start of, around April, I got really, really ill, and my body pretty much gave up on me. I got toxic shock and sepsis, so that just meant that all the organs in my body started shutting down, and this came through a really bad kidney infection, and I had to stop, guys. I had to take a step back from literally everything that I was doing as an entrepreneur, as someone that works for themselves. I initially found that really fucking difficult, and so I learned the most in this year. I've also had the most spiritual kind of growth in a way. I feel like I've been through a second, third, fourth, spiritual awakening that has actually blown my mind in some ways. And it has made me into a brand new version of myself. And that's actually something that I'll be sharing about way more about in 2023, because as I've been going through this spiritual growth this year, I haven't felt it fully organic to talk about it on the podcast because I've been going in deep, guys. And there's been a lot of things that I've been learning about myself and healing in myself. And I quite honestly just didn't have the capacity to hold space for you guys as well. I was like, I can only focus on me right now. But I'm already feeling very much like there are so many topics that I'm going to share. This is why I feel like 2023 as well for the podcast is going to be a whole new level, as always. So get yourself subscribed. My life update, basically, I'm not an auntie yet. Obviously, I put on the life update on last week's episode that I'm going to be an auntie in 2 days. That's because my sister had an elective C-section booked in because the baby was breech, which basically means the baby was upside down. It wasn't the right way around. And so we were like, okay, we know exactly when it's going to be born. Anyway, the weird thing is, right, she had an elected C-section it was like 3 days prior, and it got postponed, which is really weird. And so it got postponed to later. And then when she got to the hospital to have the baby taken out, the baby had turned around. So basically, this baby, this soul, this very spiritual soul, knows when the hell its birthday is supposed to be, and its birthday is not supposed to be yet. So I'm not an auntie yet. I feel like this soul coming through is very spiritual. I feel like it's in a long line of very spiritual souls coming through this year. Even though it's like last minute, I really feel it. And it's probably because obviously as its auntie, I'm very spiritually connected, and I'm just so excited to be the crazy spiritual auntie, honestly. But my sister is doing fine, and she's just a waiting game now, because now it's going to be a natural birth, which is kind of scary because, she wasn't really preparing for that. But, it is what it is, and it's very exciting. So I'll be updating you on that. By the time this episode goes out, she may have already had it because I'm recording this obviously like a few days early. So let's just see. It could be honestly a real Christmas miracle. Sponsor for this week is the same. If you are loving the podcast, it would mean the absolute world to me if you go ahead and leave a little rating and review. You can go and leave 5 stars. And if you can leave it, you can leave reviews on any platforms that you listen to, but make sure that you're subscribed as well, because you get a little notification to say when the next episode is out. And that also massively helps the podcast out as well, guys. So please do support if you are loving it. You can click the little tick icon if you're listening on Apple Podcasts at the top, or I think there's like a follow button on Spotify, but it means the world and I love you forever. So let's get into today's episode. So I think I'm just going to dive straight into these 7 things that I've learned this year. Like I said, this year has been a year of patience and a lot of lessons. There's been less doing this year, less kind of like physical manifestations coming through. It's been more like the prep behind the big things that are going to come through, which is also really important, guys. And for anybody who's in a stage, in fact, I'm going to stop rambling because this is pretty much the first lesson. So number 1 is I have learned that everyone is in a totally different energetic cycle. Everybody. There is no way that any of us, and you know, some of us might be in the same energetic cycle at the same time, and that's why we probably relate to each other, but we are all in our own damn cycle, and that is going to look different on everybody. This is why when I teach manifestation and when I'm working with my students, I'm always really careful to understand what people are going through at that time. So what I mean by different energetic cycles is that, you know, at some point, you're going to feel really fucking ready to go. You're going to feel hyped up. You're going to feel like you've got this fire under your ass and you're like, I want to take action. At other points, you're going to feel like you want to curl up into a ball and go to sleep. Both stages, guys, are completely valid, and both stages you can manifest in. So this is what 2022 was for me. It was a year of rest, really, and growth in a lot of ways. Like, I had to take a step back from so many things because of my health. You know, as an entrepreneur, I had to take a step back from my business. I had to take a step back from actually like mentoring and things like that, which, you know, I just genuinely couldn't hold space for anybody. But regardless of where you're at in your cycle, you don't have to feel like that is your vibration slowing down. In fact, you get to decide that your vibration is always sped up. Even in these times, in these periods of rest, even if it's a whole freaking year like myself where so much shifted and changed and so many spiritual lessons came through, you don't have to decide that just because you're in a stage where you need to rest, or, you know, maybe you are going through like a 2nd, 3rd spiritual awakening and it feels really freaking slow. You know, you don't have to feel like it is slow. You get to choose how it makes you feel. And that's the main lesson here for me, is that like, first of all, knowing my cycle, second of all, honoring my cycle, and third of all, not letting whatever stage I'm in actually affect my vibration or how much I'm able to manifest. Because so much did manifest for me this year. It manifested in different ways and different things manifested, but so much did. And this is what your life can be too. The second lesson I've learned this year has been that friendships aren't supposed to be permanent. Guys, I did an episode about friendships like however many weeks back, and it actually got so many of you downloaded it, right? And it's something I can like talk more about as well. But, you know, for me, over the years, I've been through like quite big friendship wounds where I've had friends like leave my life. I've had friends that can't handle my energy, or, you know, lots of different reasons. But one thing that I have really learned this year is that friendships aren't supposed to be permanent. We need to take away this pressure that we often hold on ourselves, that we're supposed to have these connections and then keep these connections for the rest of our lives. And if we don't keep the connection, then it's somehow our fault, which is just not true. People are moving along their own path and their own journey all the time, as you are, right? So wherever you're at your journey, you're going to have people come in to aid that journey or to teach you a lesson on that journey. You know, sometimes people are only supposed to be in your life for like a few weeks, you know? Sometimes people are supposed to be in your life for 10 years. At the end of the day, you can't make that mean anything about yourself. If friends leave, it's nothing to do with you. It's to do with the lessons that are being learned. It could be to do with them and their own lessons, right? So just knowing, for me personally this year, that actually friendships aren't supposed to be permanent, that it's all part of your spiritual growth. Like I've been saying, I've learned a lot in spiritually this year. So don't make it mean something about you, and keep moving through your journey as the open, amazing, abundant person you are, with that love, because you're going to attract even more people into your life that then inevitably, with the flow of things, might move out of your life again. But it doesn't mean anything about you. The third thing I've learned this year is that spiritual growth can be fucking brutal. My God, guys, the things that I've been learning and going through and healing is kind of almost been like another dark night of the soul period for my spiritual besties. Like, it's felt very much like I've had to go so far inward again. And now this kind of happened to me at the end of 2019 when my ex-boyfriend left, and I was like forced into this place of like deep inner healing. But that's when my business was kind of born and grew, and like that was very unexpected, and it kind of just happened through my own healing, and it was like a huge thing that like boomed and manifested for me. But I felt like I've gone through another stage, but like almost like a more heightened stage. This is why I keep saying like it feels like I've gone through like a second, third, fourth, however many spiritual awakening, because it's gone to levels of like past life regression, to like healing generational trauma, healing things that have been gone on in a past life, which you can't even really explain in this lifetime. And that growth and that healing, which again is something I'm going to open up more about in 2023, has been the most eye-opening for me ever. And that has also brought about like huge spiritual gifts, psychic gifts, things that, again, like I'm laughing now because I had a conversation with a friend about this. I was like, I don't know when to actually announce these things on the podcast, because some people might listen and be like, what the hell, Jess, you're psychic. But I'm going to do an episode dedicated to that, because again, it didn't feel right for me to talk about it as I was going through it, but now I'm much more open. I feel like I am in a different energetic space. So, but it can be brutal. So for me, really, the illness that I went through, I feel like was a very spiritual kind of upgrade on an energetic level, because I have healed my body so much through this work. Years ago, I used to have like really bad immune system issues, and I had suffered with glandular fever as a kid, and there was a lot that was kind of going on, and I kind of healed a lot of that. But then this year, at the peak of health, I was like so healthy, this came out of nowhere that I ended up with this really, really severe kidney infection and then sepsis, which is basically just when your blood is infected. Every organ in your body is infected. And it felt like I was purging something. And again, this has to be a whole episode. I can't go in on it right now because there's too much to talk about with this. But it felt like I was purging something. It was a very spiritual feeling for me. But then, like I said, that had a knock-on effect for the rest of my year when I was healing through this. And it has been the most eye-opening experience for me. So again, for anybody that's kind of going through this or has gone through a big illness, a big, setback in some way, that is the time of the biggest healing and growth. And when you get out the other side of that, your life is going to boom. And I've seen it happen to me before at the end of 2019 going into 2020, and it's going to happen to me again. And I strongly feel that 2023 is going to be another year of like a boom period, which again is knowing and honoring your cycle. The fourth thing that I've learned, and this really ties on to what I've just spoken about, is that your health is freaking everything. Your health is everything. So we can get so caught up, guys, when we talk about energy and mindset. And, I did that episode on spiritual dimensions, the fourth and the fifth dimension, and we get really het up in these dimensions. The third dimension, your physical body, is so damn important to look after. Taking care of your health, understanding your body, understanding what your body needs, understanding when you need to rest, understanding when you need to go, understanding what you should be eating, like eating high vibrational foods and, you know, working out and doing these things is so important, not only because it's going to make you feel tons better, but this is your vessel. This is what you're walking around this earth in. Like, you're a spiritual soul walking around in this meat sack. Like, basically, that's all your body is. But if you don't look after that vessel, then you can't create all the things that you want to create in your life. So the huge thing for me this year, which I'm going to take with me and honor that on a huge scale. The fifth thing that I've learned this year, and again, this is a topic that I am going to really, really go in on with you guys in 2023. But the fifth thing that I've learned is that it is okay to be looked after. So what I mean here is that, now you guys know, like, I talk a lot about masculine, feminine energy, and I will do an episode. In fact, maybe that'll just be my next episode on what these energies actually are. But, you know, your masculine energy is like this doing energy. It's a very linear energy. It's a very providing energy. And I am mostly in that energy. And, you know, I know that about myself. I have known that about myself. I make it like a real effort to do lots of feminine rituals, right? Because your feminine is more of this flow. It's more of your intuitive powers. It's more of, you know, being able to sit back and receive. Now, for me this year, what I've really learned about the feminine is it's not just being in a flow. Your feminine is about being able to be looked after by someone. And for me in particular, like, I've been really working through this when it comes to men and love and relationships. Again, this is a topic I haven't really opened up a lot about, but I'm ready to now. And for me, like, I am single, and I've been single since 2019 because that's when my ex left me. And, you know, I've learned a lot about dating and love and relationships. And but the biggest thing that I've learned this year is that it's okay for me to lean back into my feminine as a woman and, like, you know, actually be able to receive from a man, be able to, for a man to pay for a meal on a date, and not, like, you know, rush to say, oh, let's split it and make it equal. Because those things, again, like, I feel like all these points that I'm going into, like, they all need to be separate podcast episodes in themselves. But for me, really, it's this idea that it's safe to be looked after, even if you are a very powerful, go-getter, bad bitch, kind of, you know, entrepreneurial woman. Like, you know, if you are in that energy, it's okay to be looked after, but not just by men, you know, or women, or whoever it is you're dating, but by friendships, in friendships too. One of the biggest things I learned friendship-wise this year was that a lot of the time, some people that I thought were friends were actually very much taking advantage of me. And, you know, and I'm a big one for setting boundaries, but I realized that a lot of friends were coming to me and just offloading on me, because obviously I'm a mentor, and, you know, it's very easy to do that. And I'm very open to that. It's fine. You know, I love helping people, but I never did that with any of my friends. And I then started making this conscious effort this year to be like, you know what, I'm allowed to sit back and be looked after and receive from friends, from men, from family, whoever it is. And that has been a game changer for me, and something I'm still working on, because, again, like, I'm not really in on the dating scene just yet. I don't feel ready for it, but I feel like 2023 will be different. But, you know, that for me, being able to, like, actually know that it's okay and it's safe to be looked after has been a huge thing. And I feel really powerful as a woman now. Like, I feel really it's a very powerful feeling. It's not a small, like, weak feeling. It's very powerful, and that's been something I've been really enjoying learning about this year. Next thing I've learned is that if it feels like it's your purpose, then it is your purpose. So you guys know me, like, I do a lot, like, in terms of, I've got, like, a lot of strings to my bow. I'm very multifaceted as a human, because I get bored quite easily. Like, if I'm honest, I love doing and creating and, like, putting my hands in the clay and, like, molding and creating things, because also that's what we're put on this earth to do, right? But because of that, like, so I do a lot, you know. At the moment, I've been really getting in on producing this year. I've produced this other film recently. I've been script writing for screen. I've written this sitcom. I've been, you know, moving more towards like the influencer standpoint. So I've been working with brands. I've been doing like lots of different things. My fingers have been in lots of different pies. And the thing is, guys, is that when it comes to your purpose in life, your purpose genuinely just is something that you're good at and something that lights you the fuck up, right? There is no other definition of a purpose, really. You know, you get to decide what your purpose is. And I've really realized that this year, you know, because when I first got into like coaching, I was like, oh, my purpose is to just, you know, be a light worker and help people, which is very much a big purpose of mine in this life. But I've also got other purposes. And one of the things I pride myself on is that I'm a role model. I'm a leader. I'm not somebody that is like going to dictate stuff out of a textbook and teach you that way, right? I'm always one of those people that's like, I'm going to fucking live it myself, right? So for you, if you're feeling like, you know, something feels like a purpose, then it is a purpose. And even if something lights you up and you know that maybe you're not great at it, maybe you need to practice it, you can practice it and get better and it can become your purpose, right? So, you know, when I first started producing, I had never produced before. Or when I first became an entrepreneur, I wasn't born out the womb being an entrepreneur. So, you know, I had to learn, I had to practice, I had to grow with what I was doing. But then it became my freaking purpose. So now it is my purpose to be a multi-entrepreneurial woman and, you know, and to like be a multifaceted creative woman. You know, that's my purpose in life. It's my purpose to help people. It's my purpose to be a role model. But one thing that I learned this year is that, honestly, you can find a purpose in anything. And so, like I was saying before, you know, it felt like maybe not a lot has been manifesting physically, but there has been so much prep work that I've been doing, guys, on so many different projects that you just wait. Like, you guys just wait, because there is so much coming out. There's like new business ideas. There's, you know, growth in like different areas creatively, like especially with the screenwriting I'm doing. So, you know, again, sometimes people, you know, you look at your life and you can think, oh, I'm just like assigned to this role, or this is all I'm good at, so I'll carry on doing it. You can do anything you fucking want to do. The seventh thing, the final thing that I've learned this year, is that believing in yourself and your vision is non-negotiable. Like, it is non-negotiable. Now, I guess, like, I've kind of known this for a number of years anyway, but it's really, really been strengthened, I guess, in 2022 for me, because, you know, so much shifted on a spiritual level, and, like, you know, so much kind of, stopped happening and made space for other things to happen this year, that I was just reminded how important it is to hold your freaking vision. Hold it, you know, keep it up in the air. Don't let it drop, right? Because your belief in your vision and your belief in you and what you're capable of is the only thing that is going to get you to where you are. Right? It is the foundation of how you're going to get to where you are. For me, when I decided that I was going to move to LA, which was a very kind of like intuitive thing, it came through a download. It was very strange. It was like so random. It was whilst I was doing a bath ritual. It was like, you need to go and you need to go to LA. And when I first decided that, and I first actually like voiced it and then started making plans to go ahead with it, there were a lot of people that were like, oh, that's kind of crazy, isn't it? You know, not necessarily people that were unsupportive, but just people that were like, oh, wow, that's like a big deal, isn't it? And, you know, and myself as well, like I had those thoughts. Oh, that's kind of a big deal. That's kind of a big leap to make, or a big thing to do. But the thing is, if you don't hold that belief in the vision, that seed is the thing that is going to make your vision grow. It's the belief. And so for me, a lot of people call me crazy. A lot of people call me delusional. Like, it's one of the best compliments I can get as a person. If someone's calling me crazy, like, that's so weird, Jess. Like, I'm like, great, because if I wasn't delusional about what I wanted in life, about my vision, then it would never manifest for me, you know? Some of the biggest things for me have come into fruition just because I simply decided that's what I want. However crazy, however big, however delusional it was, I was like, that's what I want. I want to run a 6-figure business. I want to be a 6-figure entrepreneur. Within a year, it happened, right? I want to be on TV as an actor. Within a few months, it happened. you know? So all of these things, if you don't dream that big, you're never going to create it into your reality. So that's really what 2022 was for me as a lesson, was that, you know, hold the vision, always hold the vision, but hold it even higher and go even bigger with it, you know? Like 2020, 2021 for me were huge. Like I said, like my business blew up, lots of things manifested, lots of things happened. Just because I was having more of a restful kind of spiritual growth period in 2022 didn't mean that my vision had dropped. My vision was still very much there, and I was very intuitively being guided to make it even bigger, make it even more delusional, which is why I'm now going to LA. And again, guys, you don't know what's going to happen out there. I don't know. I could be intuitively guided to LA to maybe meet the love of my life. Maybe it's got nothing to do with my career, which, you know, I kind of am going for at the moment. But, you know, maybe it's got nothing to do with that. Who the fuck knows? I just know that if I don't dream big and if I don't hold those big visions, they will never manifest. So that was another big lesson for me this year. Hold that vision, hold those dreams. So those are my 7 lessons that I've learned in 2022. If any of them have resonated with you, then let me know. Take a screenshot of this episode, tag me on your Instagram stories. But I feel like each of these points could be a podcast episode in themselves, guys. Like, especially, you know, going in on feminine energy and going in on psychic gifts and things like that, and like the spiritual element. And, you know, so much is going to be opened up in 2023. I've got some great episodes on the way for you. So do make sure that you are subscribed to the podcast. Like I said, go and give it 5 stars if you're loving it. But I want to know from you guys too, like some of your biggest lessons this year. I think it would be really interesting to find out some of the things that you guys have learned as well as a collective. Like, so drop me a DM over on Instagram at I am Jessica Paul. Come follow me over there. Come say hi. I love meeting new guys, new faces that are coming through in this community. And honestly, just so much love for you all, because you are my life right now. That sounds so dramatic, but honestly, this podcast means the world to me. So that means every single one of you that listen mean the world to me as well. So happy Christmas. Have the best Christmas ever. And I will chat to you all next week. And by then, we will be in the new year. Lots of love.
Thanks for tuning in, guys. If this episode resonated with you, share it with a friend who you think would love it too. And if you want to let me know how you found it, just screenshot this episode, add it to your Instagram story, and tag me at I am Jessica Paul so that I can throw all the love right back at you. And of course, subscribe, hit those 5 stars, and leave a review to show your support and to keep the good stuff coming. Sending you so much love and gratitude from your girl Jess.